Would Bruce Lee at his peak be able to contend with today's top MMA fighters?
What would happen if a martial arts legend faced the most complete fighters on the planet? Bruce Lee's punches were faster than the eye could track. His philosophy redefined combat, and his training inspired generations.
And when you do punch, now I'm leaning forward a little bit. I mean, you gotta put the whole hip into it and snap.
Imagine a scenario where one of the most legendary martial artists in history, Bruce Lee, steps into a modern mixed martial arts arena. The question that immediately arises is simple yet profound. Could a fighter from the 1960s, whose speed, precision, and philosophy have become the stuff of legend, contend with today's top-tier MMA athletes? Bruce Lee was more than just a fighter. He was a visionary. His punches were lightning fast, often described as faster than the human eye could follow. Beyond raw physicality, he transformed martial arts into a philosophy, emphasizing efficiency, adaptability, and the relentless pursuit of improvement. His impact resonates decades later, influencing not only martial artists but athletes of all disciplines, inspiring generations to rethink what it means to train, fight, and excel. Yet, despite his iconic status, an essential debate persists. Modern MMA fighters represent a different breed of athlete. Individuals who seamlessly integrate striking, wrestling, and submission grappling into a cohesive, brutally effective combat system. They are not trained in a single discipline but across multiple, with preparation guided by scientific analysis, rigorous conditioning, and continuous live sparring under pressure. These athletes operate in an environment that tests them relentlessly, combining psychological resilience with tactical flexibility. Against such comprehensive opponents, could Bruce Lee's singular brilliance translate into survival, let alone success? This question divides enthusiasts and critics alike. Some fans view Bruce Lee as untouchable, imagining that his speed, timing, and ingenuity would overcome any modern fighter. Others argue that MMA's evolution has produced athletes who are physically and strategically superior, individuals for whom Lee's approach, revolutionary as it was for his time, might be insufficient. The clash between legend and contemporary methodology is more than hypothetical. It challenges fundamental notions of combat, adaptation, and human potential. By examining Lee's training philosophy, his physical preparation, and his practical experience, one could begin to understand how his principles might intersect with the demands of today's MMA. Bruce Lee's approach to martial arts was revolutionary. He treated combat as an applied science, studying mechanics, timing, and efficiency with meticulous attention. His methodology transcended style or tradition, aiming instead for a system that could adapt to any situation. He emphasized the elimination of unnecessary movement, the application of precise force, and the optimization of the body and mind to function in harmony. These concepts echo today in modern sports science and MMA conditioning, where every punch, takedown, and submission attempt is measured, tested, and refined for maximum effect. However, a critical difference lies in the environment in which Lee trained compared to the modern fighter. While today's athletes compete within structured arenas governed by weight classes, timed rounds, and safety regulations, Bruce Lee honed his skills in conditions often unrestricted by rules. His confrontations, whether in private sparring sessions or demonstrations, prioritize efficiency and the neutralization of threats rather than point scoring or entertainment. This fundamental contrast shapes the heart of the debate. Could a fighter molded in a free-form, principle-driven system adapt to the tactical, regulated, and empirically validated world of contemporary MMA? Moreover, Bruce Lee's legacy is as much philosophical as it is technical. He advocated for continuous learning, absorbing what is useful, discarding what is not, and integrating innovation into practice. This adaptive mindset mirrors the modern MMA ethos, where fighters constantly refine techniques across disciplines, leveraging strengths and compensating for weaknesses. It suggests that Lee's brilliance was not confined to his era. It could, in theory, transcend time and adapt to new contexts. Ultimately, the question of whether Bruce Lee could survive and potentially thrive in modern mixed martial arts is not merely a matter of physical comparison. It is a multidimensional inquiry involving skill, adaptability, mental conditioning, philosophy, and the evolving structure of combat sports. By understanding the foundations of his methodology, examining the rigorous standards of today's MMA, and analyzing the intersection of philosophy, technique, and experience, we can explore a richer and more nuanced answer. This discussion does not seek to diminish Bruce Lee's accomplishments. Instead, it honors his legacy by engaging with it critically, imagining not just a myth but the tangible application of his principles against contemporary combat. It frames a thought experiment that is both fascinating and instructive, offering insights into what it truly means to be a martial artist in any era. In the sections that follow, we will explore Bruce Lee's methods, his physical and mental preparation, the evolution of modern MMA, and ultimately, whether the legend could have endured the crucible of today's top fighters. The foundations of Bruce Lee's method. Bruce Lee's approach to martial arts was far ahead of its time, blending scientific observation with physical discipline in a way few of his contemporaries could imagine. Unlike many traditional martial artists who adhered strictly to inherited styles and prescribed forms, Lee viewed combat as a living, adaptive system. He treated martial arts as an applied science, where every movement, stance, and strike could be analyzed, measured, and optimized. For Lee, efficiency was paramount. He rejected unnecessary flourishes and ceremonial motions, instead focusing on direct, precise techniques designed to neutralize an opponent quickly and effectively. This mindset would later crystallize in his development of Jeet Kune, a martial art not defined by rigid forms, but by principles, adaptability, and continuous evolution. Lee's foundational training began with Wing Chun, a traditional southern Chinese martial art he studied under the legendary Yip Man. Wing Chun emphasized close-range combat, rapid strikes, and control of the center line, a theoretical line running through the body that represents optimal positioning in combat. These principles deeply influenced Lee's philosophy of efficiency. Wing Chun taught him to conserve energy, generate power from the smallest motion, and exploit weaknesses with precision. Techniques like chain punches, sticky hands, chi saw, and centerline attacks ingrained in him the importance of timing, distance, and body mechanics, which would later underpin his understanding of combat beyond the limitations of any single style. However, Lee did not stop with traditional martial arts. His exposure to Western boxing introduced him to a completely different framework of combat. Boxing emphasized rhythm, head movement, footwork, and combinations executed under pressure. Lee meticulously studied professional boxers, observing their mechanics, defensive habits, and strategic approaches. He analyzed how they maintained balance while delivering powerful strikes, how they moved in response to opponents, and how timing could dictate the outcome of engagements. By integrating boxing concepts into his system, Lee expanded his understanding of movement, reaction, and adaptability, bridging the gap between traditional martial arts and practical, high-intensity fighting. Beyond boxing, Lee absorbed techniques from various disciplines, including fencing, taekwondo, and wrestling, forming the basis of a uniquely interdisciplinary approach. His integration of fencing principles, such as distance management and precise targeting, complemented his striking efficiency. Taekwondo contributed dynamic kicking techniques and agility, while wrestling offered insights into leverage, balance, and grappling control. By synthesizing elements from multiple combat systems, Lee cultivated a framework that prioritized practicality over adherence to any single style. This adaptive approach became the hallmark of Jeet Kune, fluid, responsive, and rooted in the philosophy of absorbing what is useful and discarding what is not. Bruce Lee's training regimen itself reflected a scientific rigor that was revolutionary for his era. He emphasized not only technique, but also the conditioning required to execute it with maximum efficiency. His workouts incorporated resistance training, cardiovascular conditioning, and flexibility exercises, practices uncommon among martial artists of the 1960s. Lee meticulously documented his physical progress, tracking variables such as heart rate, reaction time, recovery intervals, and muscular endurance. By quantifying the performance, he created a feedback loop that allowed continuous improvement. Every element of his training was aimed at measurable results, ensuring that his body could perform as effectively as his mind could plan. Crucially, Lee also emphasized mental conditioning as an integral component of his system. He treated the mind as a command center of combat, recognizing that focus, situational awareness, and rapid decision-making were as vital as speed and strength. Lee's journals reveal a disciplined approach to mental training, structured sparring, reaction drills, visualization, and assessment performance under fatigue. He viewed every sparring session not as a performance or a demonstration, but as an experiment to test hypotheses about timing, precision, and efficiency. This methodology mirrors modern cognitive and sports psychology approaches, where athletes analyze their behavior, anticipate opponents' actions, and develop strategies to optimize performance under stress. One of the most distinctive aspects of Lee's foundation was his commitment to adaptability and formlessness. He famously compared his approach to water, to be flexible, responsive, and capable of taking the shape of any container, or in combat terms, any opponent. This philosophy extended beyond mere physical technique. It shaped his thinking about strategy, learning, and personal evolution. Techniques were tools, not dogmas, and the effectiveness of each strike, movement, or tactic was constantly scrutinized, refined, and tested in real-world conditions. By refusing to become rigidly attached to tradition, Lee ensured that his martial art could evolve with the practitioner, with circumstances, and with emerging knowledge. Despite his brilliance, it is important to recognize that Lee's experience had limitations relative to the modern MMA fighter. His exposure to grappling, submission fighting, and prolonged full-contact competition was minimal compared to today's athletes. Lee's primary focus was on stand-up striking and efficiency in real-world confrontation, rather than surviving multiple rounds against specialized opponents. However, the principles underlying his training, precision, adaptability, speed, and continuous improvement suggest that he possessed the intellectual and physical tools to learn and integrate new skills rapidly. In essence, while the technical specifics of MMA may have been unfamiliar to him, the methodology to acquire and master them was inherent in his approach. In summary, Bruce Lee's foundational methods represent a fusion of science, philosophy, and physical mastery. He combined traditional martial arts with interdisciplinary insights, rigorous conditioning, mental acuity, and a philosophy of adaptability. His system emphasized efficiency, economy of motion, and the constant pursuit of refinement. While he did not experience the full breadth of modern MMA competition, the principles he developed presses the integrated, cross-disciplinary nature of contemporary combat sports. Lee's approach demonstrates that mastery is not defined solely by technique, but by the capacity to evolve, absorb new knowledge, and execute with precision under pressure, a philosophy that continues to influence martial artists and athletes worldwide. The modern MMA standard and comparison to Bruce Lee. To understand how Bruce Lee might fare in today's mixed martial arts arena, it is essential to grasp the evolution of modern MMA and the comprehensive training standards that define it. Mixed martial arts, as we know it today, represents a meticulously structured combat system, forged through decades of empirical testing and adaptation. Modern fighters are not merely specialists in one discipline. They are integrators, combining striking, grappling, and submission techniques into a cohesive, adaptable, and highly strategic framework. Each athlete undergoes years of rigorous, data-driven preparation designed to optimize performance across all dimensions of fighting: physical, technical, and psychological. The foundation of modern MMA lies in its cross-disciplinary approach. Fighters train in multiple arts simultaneously, often blending Muay Thai for powerful striking, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for ground control and submissions, wrestling for takedowns and positional dominance, and boxing for precision and footwork. Each discipline provides a set of tools, and the key to modern success is the seamless integration of these tools into fluid, adaptive combat strategies. This contrasts sharply with the era in which Bruce Lee trained, where specialization was more common, and integration across systems was largely experimental. In MMA, the fusion of disciplines is not optional. It is a necessity, ensuring that an athlete is prepared for every conceivable scenario inside the cage. Training methodology in modern MMA is highly structured and empirically informed. Athletes follow integrated programs that balance technical drills, live sparring, strength and conditioning, recovery protocols, and mental preparation. Every aspect of training is quantified and optimized. Video analysis is employed to study opponents' tendencies, track performance metrics, and identify technical inefficiencies. Strength and conditioning programs are tailored to enhance specific attributes, such as explosive power, anaerobic endurance, and sustained grappling ability. Recovery strategies, including nutrition, sleep optimization, and physiotherapy, are incorporated to ensure athletes can maintain peak performance across intense training cycles. In this system, improvement is continuous, measurable, and informed by direct feedback from both sparring and competition. One defining characteristic of modern MMA fighters is their experience under live resistance. Unlike solo drills or choreographed sequences, sparring in MMA simulates the unpredictability, pressure, and intensity of real competition. Fighters endure repeated high-intensity exchanges that test technical skill, physical conditioning, and mental fortitude simultaneously. This exposure builds instinctive reactions, resilience under fatigue, and the ability to adapt in real time, qualities that cannot be fully replicated through theory or isolated drills. In contrast, Bruce Lee's testing, while innovative and practical, occurred largely in controlled environments. His sparring was often experimental, measured, and analyzed, but it lacked the cumulative intensity of continuous, high-level competition against equally skilled specialists in multiple disciplines. The structured rules and regulations of MMA also create a distinct environment. Weight classes, time rounds, scoring criteria, and permitted strike zones all shape how fighters approach combat. Techniques that might be practical in a street fight, ice strikes, throat attacks, or certain joint manipulations, are prohibited, requiring athletes to develop alternative strategies within legal parameters. Bruce Lee's philosophy, however, prioritized efficiency and real-world effectiveness over rules. Jeet Kune was designed to neutralize opponents quickly, often targeting vulnerable areas without restriction. While Lee's methodology was adaptable, the translation to a rules-based environment would necessitate strategic adjustments. The modern fighter's experience in operating under specific constraints, balancing aggression with defense, and manipulating positional advantages is a crucial component of their competitive edge. Modern MMA also places a premium on conditioning and athleticism. Fighters today are finely tuned athletes, combining cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, agility, and explosive power. Workouts are designed to simulate fight conditions, incorporating high-intensity intervals, grappling exchanges, striking rounds, and scenario-based drills. Athletes build both physical and mental stamina, preparing to maintain technique and decision-making capability even under extreme fatigue. Bruce Lee, remarkably, anticipated many of these principles. His regimen combined resistance training, running, flexibility exercises, and targeted drills designed to optimize speed, power, and efficiency. He also incorporated mental conditioning, focusing on awareness, reaction time, and the elimination of hesitation. In terms of mindset and preparation, Lee's approach aligns closely with modern standards, though the scale, intensity, and cumulative exposure differ significantly. Integration and adaptability define the modern MMA paradigm. Fighters constantly refine techniques, incorporating feedback from sparring, competition, and analytics. Every failure becomes data, every victory reinforces effective strategies, and the system evolves through iterative testing. Bruce Lee's philosophy mirrored this approach. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and continuously test methods in practice. However, the difference lies in the ecosystem. MMA fighters benefit from structured coaching, comprehensive support systems, and direct competitive feedback, advantages Lee largely lacked. While he innovated independently, his experiments were constrained by the availability of partners, absence of institutional support, and limited exposure to organized, high-level combat scenarios. A critical factor distinguishing modern fighters from Bruce Lee's era is grappling experience. Elite MMA athletes develop expertise in wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and clinch control, areas where Lee had limited direct exposure. Ground exchanges, positional control, and submission defense are central to contemporary combat, and fighters train specifically to excel in these domains under live pressure. While Lee's philosophy emphasized adaptability and rapid learning, bridging this technical gap would have been one of the greatest challenges in facing a modern opponent. The lack of cumulative experience in these specialized areas is often cited by critics as a decisive factor in theoretical matchups. Despite these differences, parallels exist. Both Lee and modern MMA athletes emphasize reaction speed, situational awareness, and efficiency of movement. Lee's drills on timing, distance, and precision anticipated the strategic thinking employed in MMA striking and grappling today. His analytical approach to testing techniques, observing outcomes, and adjusting methodology mirrors the modern use of video analysis, performance metrics, and iterative learning. In essence, While the execution context differs, the underlying philosophy of continuous adaptation and efficiency is strikingly similar. Practical experience, mental conditioning, and adaptability. Bruce Lee's legendary status is often framed through his speed, power, and philosophical insights into martial arts. Yet, beyond the myths lies a rigorous process of practical experimentation that formed the backbone of his expertise. Unlike traditional martial artists of his era, who often followed rigid routines or ceremonial forms, Lee approached combat as a laboratory. Every strike, block, and maneuver was tested in controlled experiments to determine effectiveness, efficiency, and adaptability under stress. This approach mirrors modern sports science, though Lee achieved it decades before performance analytics were commonplace. One of the most striking aspects of Lee's practical experience was his emphasis on unscripted, real-world testing. He sought validation not through performance for an audience, but through controlled encounters that challenged his techniques in dynamic conditions. Anecdotes from his life reveal numerous instances where Lee engaged in private bouts to assess speed, timing, and reaction. A notable example occurred in 1964 during a private confrontation with Wong Jackman in Oakland. While details of the match vary, consistent accounts indicate that Lee dominated the encounter. But what mattered most was his analytical response afterward. Rather than resting on victory, he scrutinized the fight to uncover areas of weakness, focusing on conditioning, timing, and efficiency. This mindset reflects a scientific curiosity, a desire to convert experience into measurable improvement rather than rely on reputation or tradition. Lee's focus on mental conditioning was equally advanced. He understood that combat is as much a test of the mind as of the body. Concentration, awareness, and self-control were trained systematically, treated with the same rigor as physical strength or speed. He maintained detailed journals where he recorded observations, performance lapses, and corrective measures. This structured introspection allowed him to identify patterns, eliminate errors, and refine technique with precision. Modern MMA athletes employ a similar approach through cognitive training, video review, and situational sparring to enhance reaction time and decision-making under pressure. Lee's practices anticipated these methods, emphasizing that the mind is not merely a conduit for physical action, but a measurable, trainable component of martial proficiency. Adaptability was perhaps the cornerstone of Lee's methodology. At the heart of Jeet Kune is a principle of formlessness, the ability to respond fluidly to any opponent or circumstance. Lee often likened this to acting like water, adapting to the shape and force of the environment rather than resisting it rigidly. This philosophy was not abstract or poetic. It was deeply tactical. He meticulously refined his techniques, constantly questioning their effectiveness under dynamic conditions. Drills were designed to stress reaction time, spatial awareness, and energy efficiency. By repeatedly simulating fatigue and stress, Lee trained his body and mind to maintain precision under pressure. Modern MMA mirrors this principle through live sparring, scenario-based drills, and high-intensity conditioning that replicates the unpredictability of a fight. Both systems prioritize adaptability, though the context differs. Lee operated largely in self-directed experimentation, whereas MMA fighters face structured, competitive feedback loops. Lee's approach to efficiency extended beyond physical technique. He studied energy management, cardiovascular endurance, and recovery, integrating these elements into his routines long before they became standard in professional fighting. His experiments with interval training, resistance exercises, and flexibility work were geared toward maximizing output with minimal waste. This focus on kinetic economy ensured that every movement had purpose and effect, an attribute critical in MMA, where maintaining precision under fatigue often determines the outcome of a bout. Lee's attention to recovery, measured progress, and systematic adaptation highlights a proto-scientific methodology that anticipated modern athletic conditioning principles by decades. A crucial dimension of practical experience is the translation of theoretical principles into live execution. While Lee did not face continuous, organized competition as modern MMA fighters do, he was relentless in applying his philosophy in real-time encounters. His goal was not merely to perform techniques, but to test their efficacy under pressure. Every drill, sparring session, or private fight provided data, reinforcing what worked and eliminating what did not. This iterative learning process aligns directly with modern MMA's structured adaptation. Repeated exposure to live conditions produces instinctive responses, refines decision-making, and builds resilience. Lee's method differed in scale, but mirrored the logic of experiential feedback loops central to contemporary training. In the end, the question isn't just whether Bruce Lee could beat a modern MMA fighter. It's about the legacy he left behind. His philosophy, adaptability, and relentless pursuit of efficiency transformed martial arts forever. Bruce Lee wasn't just a fighter. He was a pioneer, a thinker, and an innovator who laid the foundation for today's combat sports. If you enjoyed exploring the mind, methods, and mastery of Bruce Lee with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share your thoughts in the comments. Could Lee survive in today's cage? We'd love to hear your perspective. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.